Hi, welcome to Hope with Jonathan, and on this channel we will be discussing kidney disease, kidney dialysis, and kidney transplant. On this channel we will also allow kidney patients to tell their incredible, amazing story, their personal journey with kidney disease, dialysis, and transplant. We will also advocate for them a living donor. Guys, I was about 30 minutes from death, ended up being stat flighted in a helicopter to a hospital where I ended up in the ICU and woke up on dialysis. They removed about 30 pounds of fluid. My potassium was a 9. They had to shock my heart and bring me back to life. Guys, if you want to hear more stories about this, please stay tuned and stay with us. KidneySolutions.org, a network of transplant experience. You can find us at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. KidneySolutions.org. Kidney transplantation is an excellent option for patients with kidney disease who want to live a life free of dialysis. Kidney Solutions is facilitated by transplant professionals, recipients, and living donors who want to assist patients in finding a living kidney donor and help them and their families through the pre- and post-transplant process. You can contact Kidney Solutions at 830-285-2140. Again, KidneySolutions.org, a network of transplant experience. Shon Gonzales of San Antonio, Texas, is listed at Methodist Specialty and Transplant. He is also currently on the KidneySolution.org website. Shon Gonzales has 2 children and 2 grandchildren. He went back to college when he was 45 and finished his college degree. He went on to earn his master's degree in psychology, graduating with a 4.0. He was diagnosed 1 year ago with kidney failure and now needs a kidney transplant. Shon Gonzales quotes, "I still love to work, read books, go to the beach, go camping, hunting, fishing, and traveling. There are no words I can tell you how grateful I would be if you indeed can help. Would you step up today and be Shon Gonzales' hero?" You can find more information at KidneySolutions.org.
Jonathan?
Yes.
Okay, we're on.
Hello, Shon. How are you?
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. One of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show, Shon, I wanted to talk with you about kidney disease and your relation with kidney disease. I know that you have been battling kidney disease.
Well, it actually started 5 years ago when I was found to have diabetes, and the doctors at that time said that it had really affected my kidneys. And so I came up to a nephrologist, Dr. Jose Velez here in San Antonio, and he put me under medication and kept my kidneys going for the next 4.5 years. The number stayed above 12, 15. And so I was fine with that. But then this past year, just 1 week, uh, I started feeling bad, started swelling up. And I knew that, at one point in my life, it was, that it was going to happen. We're going to finally go out. And they did. So I had to come back. I was living in the valley and working. And I'm still working part-time down there via phone and email and Zoom. And but as you well know, we're pretty much corralled by the dialysis,
Yes.
and so every other day, that you go in. Of course, I've got Sundays and Mondays off, so it gives your body a little chance to recuperate. But it's kind of hard to get anything done in one day as far as business.
Yes.
So that is one of the reasons I'm I do pray every night that somebody will come through and donate a kidney, or if I'm on the list. And of course, the biggest problem is I'm like you, I have type O negative, and we can donate to everybody, but it's got to be a one-on-one with
Yeah.
the same blood. But the fact of the matter is, now at Methodist Specialty, where you had yours done and I'm registered there,
Uh-huh.
that they do the group uh, operations. And of course, Methodist is probably, I think, they're the second hospital in the United States that do the most transplants. I think
Yeah.
there's one out of New York that does more.
Yeah.
So they know what they're doing. They definitely know what they're doing.
Oh, yes.
But, you know, uh, for people that have weak kidneys and are going through all this, the main factor involved there is, of course, changing your lifestyle and changing your eating habits. Uh, the crazy part about it is now is that most of the nurses and the doctors that see me now say I don't have diabetes, and I've taken care of my diabetic problem with just food control, and I take no medicine for diabetes. I take no insulin. They took me off all that 2 or 3 years ago, and it's just a diabetic. It wasn't a challenge for me because my eating habits were conducive to what I needed to do.
Yeah.
So that helps there. But of course, it's just the fact that, the kidneys, you'd think, you think with all the technology in the world that with stem cell research that they could uh, they could use stem cell to manufacture kidneys, and that would be great. But we're still a couple of years off of that. So
Yeah. Yeah. And you had mentioned that you're following the renal diet and taking care of yourself and trying to control your sugar. A lot of that probably stems from your dialysis treatments, because when I was on dialysis, my A1C was like a 4.5, and they wanted to take me completely off of meds, which I was only taking a half of a glipizide a day while I was on dialysis. And so your dialysis will definitely wipe out the sugars out of your blood and cleanse your blood, of course, of the toxins as well. So your dialysis. How many days a week are you doing dialysis?
I'm doing 3 days a week. I'm doing Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. But I've been doing research,
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan, and I was telling my sister today that I'm going to speak to my nephrologist, and I don't see if your body can control it. Why not just 2 days a week to give your body a chance to recuperate a little bit more?
Yeah.
And so, I know that they go, oh no, this and that, and you have to have it. But I really, from all the research I've done, I think you could survive on 2 days a week.
Well, you may have something there with that. I know of patients that actually had to have more than 3 days. So I knew of patients that were doing hemodialysis like four, and sometimes even situations where they're doing it longer. So some go for like 3 hours, and then others are doing four, and I've even heard people doing 5 hours. So I think it's going to depend upon your nephrologist and where your labs are at and all of that
I
type of
think it's
stuff.
just yeah. I think if you're taking care of yourself and your body is stronger,
Yeah,
because I know that there's some older people there that go for 4 hours,
yeah,
and but I just uh, I'm 67 years old, but I'm in pretty doggone good shape,
yeah,
mentally and physically, and you know the doctors are always amazed. I have no other problems with nothing else, no heart, no uh, lung problem, no anything like that, blood pressure. But I think the blood pressure a lot of times mine stays around the 120s, so I'm fine with that. And but it's just it's a chore, and I think it really it hurts your body in the long run. You know, the the
yeah,
3 hours or 4 hours each time that you're there. It takes me that afternoon to recover. I'm fine the
yeah,
next day. I'm fine the next day, but it really weakens you depending on how much they extract
yeah,
on that particular day.
yeah.
And
Well, I remember when I would come home from dialysis, I would usually nap for, especially at the beginning phases of dialysis. For me, I would end up napping for at least an hour or two after treatments because it would just wipe me out, and it was definitely not for the dialysis is not for the faint of heart at all. So
no, not at all. At first psychologically, I mean, it really got to me. I just have 4 hours and I'm just sitting here. I can't. I'm so used to working. I was so used to going to work every day, and
yeah,
it was just now you're I don't say stuck, but it's life is what it is,
yeah,
and like they say, it is what it is. I mean, in order to stay alive, you have to go. So you
yeah,
make your peace with it, and you go. And but this is the the beautification of being able to get a kidney replacement and being able to go back to regular life. And um, of course, that's what all of us hope, especially for us that we just started. I've just been under uh, dialysis for 4 months, and when you hear these are the people 8 years, 10 years, I said, man, you must have not been fighting for a kidney or something, because I call the hospital, I call Methodist at least once a month and check to see where I'm at on the list.
yeah,
And of course, with help from Kent and hopefully through a podcast like this with you, if there is somebody out there that, would, if they ever wanted to, or if they ever had an idea of being able to save somebody's life, um, hell, I'm here waiting, and I'd be more than uh, glad that they decided to do a donation, because there's a lot of people that don't understand. We are born with 2 kidneys, and we go through life only using one. So, I mean, a lot of people that do donate, and other people like yourself that, you got yours through another situation, but you got yours.
Yes, sir.
And, life is just a lot easier than having to know that you can only do a certain amount of either work or play or whatever on the one day that you have off, and then you're stuck the next day that you have to go and sit there for 4 hours getting your dialysis done. So,
Yeah.
life is life, and
I've been where you're at, Shon, and although I only did dialysis for 13 months, I can sympathize with your story and what you've been saying, because when I was in center, I met people that were on dialysis for 10, 15, and I even knew a lady that was in there that said she had been doing dialysis for 20 years.
Yeah.
And those people are the true, kidney warriors that, have battled a long time. And like you said, I think what happens is people get frustrated, they get tired of waiting, and I think they just kind of get a mindset of, they're just going to give up, and
they have the mindset that, I'll just go to dialysis,
right?
And they get used to it, and that's one thing that I don't think I'll ever get used to. But the fact that I know that there's people out there in this world that might be interested in donating a kidney, and we just have to find those people.
Yes.
And so it's now through our social media makes it a little bit easier. And of course, but we have to fight, and we have to continue, trying to find a donor. So that's where for all of us that are still, just doing dialysis and praying for a kidney, and you just, but you keep going. You keep going. You just don't give up.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think a lot of these people just decided, well, nobody wants to do anything, and I'm not ever going to get a kidney, so it's dialysis for me.
Yeah.
And,
well, Shon, you mentioned that you're on the list at Methodist Specialty and Transplant in San Antonio, Texas. Do you mind telling me how old you are, Shon?
I'm 67 years old.
Yeah.
And
are you currently married? Do you have any children?
Well, I've got 2 children. I've been divorced for about 25 years. And I have two children, a boy and a girl. They're both completely grown up. And so they're both. I can't. I'm kind of estranged from my daughter, but my son and I, and he can't help me out at this time. So, and my brother was going to donate a kidney, and a week before the operation, they ran the final test on him, and something was wrong, so he couldn't donate. That was last year. And so, and I have friends that are willing to donate, but a lot of them have diabetes, so that excludes them, and the age factor. So
and that's pretty typical. So someone that's willing to step forth will go and get the testing done, and then what happens is they find out that something's going on with their health, and then that cancels them out.
Exactly. I've got a young lady friend that is interested, but she's got certain problems, and I said, well, you don't know until you go get tested.
Yep.
And if it's something repairable, they might be able to give you medication and then wait, 2 or 3 months and then be able to do it. So, but you don't know until you go get tested. And that's the whole gist
That's right.
of the situation is, can you make time to just go do all the tests? And they could do all the tests in one day. And
So it's best to go ahead and go to the transplant center and let them make that decision for you.
correct.
If someone is interested in being Shon's donor, and the best thing for you to do is to go ahead and go get tested and let them determine whether or not you would be a good potential donor for him.
Well, they send them a questionnaire first,
Right.
and then they speak over the phone, and if there's a possibility, they bring him in and do all the testing.
Right.
And like you said, you can't hope or wish. And the best thing is to do is go to the transplant hospital and get all the testing done, and see what they say, because you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. Shon, you had mentioned kidneysolutions.org, who you currently are listed with on their website. If anybody wants any further information on Shon Gonzales, you can go to kidneysolutions.org, and it's a website, and they use the website, they utilize it to help advocate for patients and try to help them get a living kidney donor. There's many patients listed there, but Shon Gonzales is one of them, and his story is on there. And as a matter of fact, there's a link on there that will actually help pre-screen you to become his potential donor. And you can go to kidneysolutions.org and find out information on Shon Gonzales. So, Shon, how did you meet up with Kent Bressler and kidneysolutions.org?
Well, when I was going to my once a month appointments here in San Antonio, the doctor said, "I'm going to introduce you to these people that have this nonprofit." And so Kent and I spoke, and I gave him my situation, and he gave me his story, and we've been back and forth ever since. And so, and he understands too. In the valley, especially the Hispanic people, or like any other, like we both will know, that the misinformation on transplant coordinations are pretty well not known. So a lot of people are scared to do it.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
It's
pretty common. It's pretty common in all nationalities.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of miscommunication, a lot of miseducation, and a lot of myths and stuff that need to be, debunked. And basically there needs to be more education on it and more topics, more, people talking about it to address some of the issues, because a lot of people think if I give you my kidney, then, my health is going to go down, or I'm going to die from that, or,
Yeah.
and it's simply not the case. You can live a perfectly healthy life with one kidney. As a matter of fact, I'm doing it right now with my transplant.
Well, I've got
So,
several friends of mine that have one kidney, and they've been, they're older than me. So I mean,
yeah,
it's just the
yeah,
fact that, if you get lucky enough and get a replacement kidney and take care of yourself, you can put on 30 years. And
yeah.
so I've
Well,
now that I'm in this situation, I tell myself, all over the United States, they have all these advocates that are going to schools and explaining about the diabetic problems because of all the younger kids that have diabetes now, and it's younger and
yeah,
younger. And it would be nice that maybe the hospitals would hire somebody to go to, like, the several clubs that are out there, Knights of Columbus, and all these others, that they could explain about kidney transplants, and maybe get some people
sure.
that are interested or that had questions and might be able to help people out, because there's people suffering out there like we are,
Yep.
that are just waiting. And you hear about people passing away, but they're so they're misinformed about organ transplant donations, and they just go to their death with all their organs. And like me, I've been an organ donor since I got my driver's license, and that was at 15.
Yeah.
And I said, hell, if I die, let them use everything possible. I mean, I'm not going to need it
Yeah.
anyway. So, I mean, eyeballs,
Yeah.
skin, I don't care, but use everything that is useful. Let somebody benefit from it. And like Jonathan.
Well, I'd like to commend you on that, because that's an awesome thing to do. I think it's the most humane thing to do, is to leave your organs for someone else, because as you know, there's just not enough donors right now, and that's one of the reasons why there's so many people on the waiting list for a kidney. Especially the O blood type is the most common blood type, and as soon as one comes available, they're just gone.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's
So
just
this is one of the reasons why we need a living donor to step forth for Shon. You don't have to exactly be an O to match Shon, because of the paired exchange program that Shon had brought up. The paired exchange is an amazing program. There's definitely websites and links. The National Kidney Foundation has an excellent write up on the paired exchange program. And it's an amazing program that helps people with blood type incompatibles.
correct. But it's
Where
amazing that,
and
yeah, they're at the hospital. They'll do 8 transplants in one day, and it was just because of that fact that one person donated and that person didn't match, but another one matched, so they all get together and get them done. And
yeah,
those are far in between. But if there's anybody out there that is interested in saving somebody's life, and if you can find it in your heart and your soul to want to help, uh, my gratitude is immense, because it would put me back to living the normal life, and not having to depend on dialysis to stay alive. And fact is fact,
yeah,
and it is what it is. But if you're out there, uh, I would be more than grateful for you to step up, and you can be between 18 and 55, non-diabetic, and do somebody a favor for life. You know, it's amazing
yeah,
when people actually meet, that helped each other out, to know that you're part of your body's inside of somebody else's, but because of what you did, that person is living life to the fullest again.
yeah. Oh, that's beautiful, Shon. That was going to be one of my questions, of what you would want to say to someone out there, but you've already answered that, and you did it quite well. My next question for you would be, how has the whole COVID situation, how have you handled that with battling kidney disease and dialysis? How has COVID affected you?
Well, the main objective there is, of course, to understand that you can't be around a lot of people, and you can't go to the parties, and you can't the family get-togethers, and it's having sense enough and intelligence enough to understand that it's like I'm living with my sister, but it's just my sister and my aunt and I. We've all been tested, and of course I was in the hospital, so I was tested like 4 times. And but you never know. I mean, you could go to the grocery store, and if you're not wearing the mask, and if you're not washing your hands, or if you're not keeping the separation uh, that you need to do, it just takes one sneeze, it just takes one cough, one, big old loud laugh, and you never know. Uh, I can't understand, when I was in the valley, and that these people say, oh, it's just family get together, the family of 20, and people coming from out of state, this, that, and people not knowing whether they have it or they're carriers, and then losing 3 or 4 or 5 people in that family to COVID. So it's just, training yourself that when you go out and about, put on the mask and don't bitch and moan about it. It's like I tell my friends, I remember when the seatbelt rule came in effect and people were just arguing about that. And it took, DPS that if they catch you without a seatbelt, that you get fined. And maybe that's what they need to do with these people that argue the fact that we're impeding in their constitutional rights of whether to wear a mask or not a mask. And, even though the shots are here, but it won't be till maybe March or April before everybody gets their shots. And
and we don't have a whole lot of research or data on, kidney transplant or people that are, in kidney failure.
Exactly.
As far as, if they've tested it on them or not. But I will tell you this, I'm going to be speaking with my transplant team, and if they advise me to take it, I'm going to take it. How about you? Would you take the vaccine?
I sure would. We have to listen to the scientists. And, like you said, we both don't know whether they tested on people that are on dialysis, but regardless of the fact, this virus affects the lungs. So that's another part of the body that we have to worry about. So, take the damn shot, and at least you have a fighting chance of not getting it.
Right. I agree with you 100%. And, some of our neighboring countries and different countries around the world have, they've made mandates on, different specifications and things regarding COVID, different rules. And, their numbers are not near as high as ours. And I think that's, what we probably should have done from the get-go with our administration should have, forced people to wear masks and, and like you said, possibly fine people for not taking part.
And, if you don't want to wear a mask, of course, it's up to you, but, you're not hurting anybody other than yourself and the people. You might be a carrier and not know it if you haven't been tested.
Right.
And that's that's another reason that everybody should get tested, whether you have it or not. And, the administration just, they didn't want to admit that there was a problem early on, and it got out of hand. And look at us now. We're, the number one country. We're the strongest and hardiest country in the world. But here we are with almost 300,000 people dead from this virus. And the way the hospitals are packed right now, California, New Mexico, El Paso, I mean, they have no room in the emergency rooms. They're having to do triage in the hallways, and people that need help are just getting minimal help because there's not enough nurses and doctors to go around. And so, there's all these people that don't believe that the virus is real. And when I don't understand when, because everybody in the United States probably has or knows somebody that has died from the virus. And it's amazing to me that people fight it. And, but, we've been through these viruses before, and people died left and right. And you just have to do what you need to do. I mean, wearing a mask is not anything, like, wearing something restrictive or whatever. So, but it's taking care of you. It's taking care of your parents and your grandparents and your kids.
Yeah.
And
well, Shon, I appreciate your feedback on this subject, and I agree with you 100%. I got one last question for you. What would a kidney? What if you was to receive a kidney transplant? How would that affect your life?
well, the main factor is I get to go back to work. I have a job that I love. I do. I'm a director of marketing and sales for online newspaper service. We have a website, RioGrandeGuardian.com, down in the valley, and we cover business and we cover education. We cover hospital. We carry no fluff, and to me, it's just being able to do the everyday things. Go to the beach, stay, go surfing, go do this, go boogie boarding, or just do anything that you want to do. Go hunting, and be able to go 2 or 3 days, and not just one day and have to come back for dialysis. And you get I still have a lot to give to this world, and I do help people out. I consider myself a good person, and it's a shame that you're restricted. So if I get a replacement kidney, you go back to living and living life to its fullest, and being able to still be with my children and with my relatives and my siblings, and just live life like we need to live life to the fullest, but also to be able to give back to the world, to the community.
Well, Shon, that was a awesome, beautiful response to that question, and I want to let you know that we're definitely fighting in your corner, and we're going to stand with you and continue to advocate for you, and share your story and get the word out for you.
And I appreciate it.
And I definitely no problem, Shon. And I definitely appreciate you doing the podcast with me. Hope with Jonathan. And again, guys, he's listed at kidneysolutions.org. Your point of contact will be Kent Bressler, and you can get all of his information at kidneysolutions.org. He's registered in San Antonio, Texas, at Methodist Specialty and Transplant. And again, Shon, I really appreciate you doing the interview.
Well, I thank you very much for your time, and thank you for getting the word out. Hopefully there's somebody out there that can help.
Well, we're going to do our part to continue to stand with you, brother. And again, you guys out there that are listening, you can get any information from kidneysolutions.org. You can find us at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Facebook is going to be your main point of contact, and you'll be able to contact Kent Bressler with kidneysolutions.org. Kent Bressler is the CEO of kidneysolutions.org, and he's also a kidney transplant recipient himself. So he's an awesome guy, and I really appreciate his efforts in helping kidney patients receive their living kidney donor. I myself was a patient listed with Kidney Solutions, and I ended up getting my kidney transplant, and I definitely appreciate his efforts.
All right, Jonathan. Well, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for your diligence in getting the word out.
Okay. You take care, Shon.
Okay. God bless you, and thank you much. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks again, guys, for tuning in to another Hope with Jonathan podcast. This was another incredible, inspiring personal journey with battling kidney disease, dialysis, and in waiting of a living kidney donor for transplant. Guys, Shon Gonzales definitely gave his full story and full experience on this podcast. And I'd ask for you to listen with an open heart and definitely share this podcast around with your friends, your family, and loved ones. And please, if you would, continue to pray for these patients as they're in waiting of a kidney donor. I really enjoyed listening and talking with Shon, and as he would express his viewpoints and his personal journey with battling kidney disease. I really enjoyed it, and I definitely appreciate Shon Gonzales for sharing with us on this Hope with Jonathan podcast. Guys, tune back in for more kidney disease interviews. And I really appreciate all the feedback, love, and support. And again, this was another podcast with Hope with Jonathan. Be looking out for the next interview.